Welcome back, folks, and thanks for being here. To my subscribers, I want to give a special thanks for sticking by my side on this channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do. Take out a minute, subscribe, hit like, and enjoy the video. Today, we're going to start putting our cooling tins back on and the fan shroud. You know in the last video everything we got done so far, so I won't sit there and repeat myself. So let's start putting all the cooling tins on, the thermostat, things of that nature. Let's get on it. Okay, so try to have your tins spread out and ready. I have everything laying there and the screws. I was going to buy bolts and I forgot, and I don't feel like running to the store, so I took the factory screws and cleaned them up with a wire wheel real nice. So you might want to put anti-seize on them, it's up to you. But let's go ahead and start bolting the tins on. Okay, first take the one that says number 1, number 2. Here's the flywheel, here's the crank. We're on this side of the engine, just so you do it right. Make sure you snap them down in. I'm going to do a camera angle on this. Let's get one in here to hold it in place. The other one was broke off when I got the motor, so I'm not really worried about it right now, and I didn't want to try drilling the head and something bad happen, since this motor's only going to be used for about a year. So it's a little loose there, but once I tie the rest of the tins on together, it'll hold it tight. Okay, so we're going to take the other side. This one's a little trickier to get in with the oil cooler there. There we go. So let's back up. Next is the fan shroud. Now, you want to disconnect this one lever out of the way so it clears the oil cooler when you're putting it on. So let's do that. Now the rod has to be fished. This is a pain in the butt. Fished out through for your thermostat. Sometimes you gotta turn it a little bit for it to make it. Like now. It can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Let me see if it made it down through. And I can't see. Oh. Okay. Oh, there we go, right there. There we go. Make sure you get it behind the other tins. I'll show you around the back in a minute. these tins are messing with me a little bit. As I'm scratching up my new paint. Okay, as you can see there, that little rod right there, that's got to come down for your thermostat to push the flaps. But I'll show you that because we'll be hooking it up in a minute, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It all makes sense. Once you get the fan shroud on, make sure you have it lined up there. Let me move this out of the way. Back here, that's your oil cooler. There's a bolt there. Get around the other side. I know, sorry, I don't have nobody to film me today at all. There's a bolt there. So let's get those buttoned up now. All right, put a bolt inside here. Gotta get it started. Don't go crazy, but make sure it's good and tight. Because a lot of times we have a tendency of lifting up on these for stuff. So the back of the oil cooler unit down here, tighten that bolt up. Okay. And while we're back here, let me reposition the camera. You have the bar you got to put back on for your heater flaps. You get it down in there like that. Make sure you put a flat washer on first. Okay. And this is the type of clip it is. Gotta have this together, or you will not have a properly cooling engine. Give it a little spin to make sure it's seated. And it can't hurt to check all these. Okay, there's not a washer on that. I'll put one on there. There's not a washer on any of them. Yay. I'm not the one who did that, but I'll make it right. And it holds it tighter so it isn't as loose. And when your flaps open and close, the thermostat will be pushing them and it'll go like that. The other side. You get this started, then I'm going to push down on it a little bit. Well, it ain't. Seems like it needs to go down more, but I guess that's it. Okay. Okay, there's our thermostat. As you've seen in the last video, I showed you how to test the thermostat, or the previous one to that. Now, it's nice and cleaned up. It's in the collapsed position, okay? Which means these are pulled down for warm, you know, to close off the flaps. When it expands, it pushes up and opens them up as it heats up. If the original German ones fell, they fell in a spread open position so the car don't overheat. So we're going to screw the thermostat on. Okay, don't crank it, just until it snugs up. Okay. Gotta loop this through here. Okay. Just like that. But let's get our nut on and in place. I'll show you something in a minute here. Let me get the nut started. Okay, let's put this back through. Come on. Always clean your threads and everything up. See how smooth my stuff's going together? It makes it nice. Okay, so this is slotted here. Want to see? That's slotted there. So this is adjustable, the thermostat. Okay. Let me get a 13. Let's tighten the thermostat up. You don't have to go berserk. Snug it good. You don't want to break that off. Okay. So, right now, they're in a full closed position. Let me pull on this rod. Okay, it'll push up right there. Let me snug that lightly. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to take a heat gun, put it on there, and make sure the flap's open all the way that it don't need adjusted. So let's do that. Okay, it worked when I put it in the hot water down the house. Let's see if it does it here. I don't know how good this heat gun is, if it'll heat that up. Yep, there it goes. And, okay. Now the flaps are opened. Once it starts cooling down, you know, as the motor will cool down, it'll start closing the flaps. As you can see, it's collapsing down now as it cools down. If this was to fail, it would fail in the opened position. I hope that makes sense, where the flaps would be open. Okay, so I believe the adjustment's okay on this. I'll double check it, but let's move on. So we are on number 1, number 2 side. If you're facing the rear of the car, looking in the engine compartment, it's on the right. Now, you're going to take the smaller tin, making sure I'm in the camera there. I hit these with flat high heat paint for the bottom. And you're going to put it over here. This one looks like it got bent a little, so I may have to manipulate it a little wee bit, which is not a problem. Okay, so you're going to put this in place. Make sure this is cleared, your exhaust ports. You know what I mean, the flange around there. There's one screw. Put the screw on the end of a magnet. Get that shield lined up. There we go. Got it started a few threads. It's always a way of doing stuff. See how that pulled it against there. Okay, check the other one. Where it curves under has to line up here. So you got to pull that. Get a screw. I'll back the camera up in a minute and show you where we're at, but I think you already know. You clear the exhaust port. So that needs pushed back a little, which is fine. I'll do it when I'm pressing the exhaust on. But it is clear around that way. Now you're going to take your flat tin, okay? You have a hole here. So this is going to go on just like that. as soon as I manipulate it a little bit. There we go. It covers the nut right there from the thermostat. Just start them in loose, just at least get them in there to hold it in. You have to manipulate these by bending a little. It's okay. They get bent when they're moved around, so it's not a real big deal. And you have one in here. Once my hand's out of the way, I'll show you what's going on, and you'll understand. There's the engine. There's your short tin. And it curves around and hooks there. I like to give you an understanding of what's going on, so you're not guessing. So I do the best I can with the camera angles. Okay, let's tighten this up. Whoop. This is your next piece, okay? And that's what it looks like. That's going to go right here. I had to buy a new one. I didn't have one. But you can get all these parts online, as I'm sure you know. There's probably paint in the hole, because it looks like it's some type of powder coating. I forget where I got this one at, but I think it was CIP1. Okay, I'm going to show you something about the preheat in a second, though. I didn't clean this up because I don't believe I'm going to use it. But right here, wait, how did that go? Where did you go? Oh, it goes on the oil sling. Okay, it goes on a dipstick. If you do use this, it's your preheat. The snorkel goes up to the air cleaner. It'll bolt on in the front of here, and it pulls heat from down inside of here. And that's what sends heat up to the carburetor. I don't know if I'm going to use this yet. That's why I didn't clean it up or do anything with it yet. But that's where it goes on the front here. So, not sure what I'm doing with that yet. Now, we are at number 3, number 4 cylinder at the back. This is the long tin. Okay? And we're going to be putting that on next. And, but obviously, we'll go back here. Let me get some screws. Okay, we're at the back of the engine, flywheel side, and we're going to put the screws in. Okay, let's go back around. Okay, so you can get a better image of it. That is the rear of the engine. There's that long tin, and it shoots down towards the front. Now, I got the 2 screws on at the back. This piece of metal, I didn't realize till now, and I even stopped and painted it, there's some material missing off of here. I'm not worried about that screw as much, because once you get the one on at the end, it ain't going nowhere anyhow. It can't. So it's really not that big of a deal to me. But what I had to do here, I'll show you. It screws to the motor. Somebody broke a bolt off of that ear. Okay? So I didn't have anything to tap with, so I drilled a hole through it, and I put a nut and bolt on it. Not a big deal. So now we're moving to the front, and I'll show you everything when it's all done intact and walk around it one more time. Here's the front of the engine. That will go in there. So you're going to put your screws down through there. You got to have all these in place. If you don't, it can and probably will run hot. They were designed like this for a reason. Don't try to make up your own little tricks. I almost forgot, at the front of the engine, do not put this screw in or this one, because we have to fit this on. This goes on before your pulley, obviously. Whoops. I'm trying to work alongside the camera so I don't block it, so it makes it a little tougher, so be patient with me. Okay, we're going to put a screw in the front here first. If I work dead on straight, you're not going to see it, so. Okay, you don't need to completely tighten it yet. We're going to move this around a little. Come on, get in there. Okay, got a screw in the front here. Well, I think I'm bumping you there because I'm trying to reach from behind the camera so you can see what's going on. If you're going to use the preheat, okay, it will go like that right there, okay? I don't know if I'm going to use mine yet. I still got time to decide, so then I'll clean it up and paint it if I am. So you'll want to tighten this. We'll go over the tins in a minute. I'll flip the motor, walk around, and show you everything. Okay. Alright, so this is where we're at right now, and what I forgot to do, I'll do it when I'm done here. I forgot to sand and spray my one tin. Oh well, I'll do it before I put it on, and that is where that tin will go. I'll show you in the next video, but not a big deal. I gotta spray it. I totally forgot. You have your tins on at the back that come down underneath, and there's where the air exits. Now, these two bolts here, these two holes, that's what your heater box attaches to. Now, obviously your heater is here and here, but there's little tabs that come off the heater box that attach to these tins, okay? But there's where the air exits. Same on the other side. You have your tin, it attaches and goes down, and the air exits at the front. Now once we put that rear tin on, I gotta paint that, put the pulley on, then we'll move to the generator alternator stand. I'm gonna teach you how to put the alternator together and shim it properly so it doesn't rub inside the doghouse. So that's it for that. Okay folks, so that's it for today. I gotta paint that rear shield that I missed. Unbelievable. Next video we'll be going ahead and shimming the alternator, installing it. We'll be putting the alternator stand on, and of course that rear tin we'll put back on. And I believe then we're going to be installing the heater boxes. That's about it, really. I did want to show you something real quick. So we are at the back of the motor, and here is the oil cooler, okay? You'll have a bolt, you can start it in there. Put this in like that. This is very important too. This is exhaust from your oil cooler. Now let me make sure it's straight. There we go. Okay. This is going to go in there and onto the oil cooler. It'll box this in so the air flows through. Okay, does that make sense? Get your spring, hook it into the hole on your heater flaps. So, see how that works? Okay, don't forget to do that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a pair of needle nose and make sure that spring don't come off. That is very important. I don't like this. I might buy a new spring because it's not in there that far. Oh, there we go. I was able to squeeze it. I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, what I was talking about is, see how, let me get that in here. I took needle nose and squeezed this together a little because it was just coming through like that. So you want to squeeze it a little bit, and it's hard to see, I know, on each end. But there's what that looks like back there. Make sure you have this all hooked up on the system. Okay, so we have our metal all on, for except that piece. I gotta paint that piece. I don't know how I forgot. And that, of course, will go there. Okay, but we're gonna put our crank pulley on, install the alternator. I'll show you how to shim all that, our alternator stand. Put all of our metals on. Shields are on at the bottom. We got our ductwork on for our oil cooler to exhaust the air down. Make sure your spring's on. And we have our tins on at the back that go underneath. Okay, so thanks for being here, folks. I appreciate it. Stay tuned. We'll keep going on and on until this motor is in and running. Please like, subscribe, and share. Sorry, and I'll see you soon.